Welcome back, everybody, and Happy New Year. We're in 2025. Somehow we made it through another year. My name is Sharon Chaden Burks. I'm a senior instructional designer at Sinclair Community College, and I'm really happy to see you all here. I know, can't believe it's 2025. Been doing these networking sessions for 4.5 years now. So people keep coming and sharing their time, and people keep showing up. So we'll just keep doing it. So I have a guest speaker today to introduce to you. Her name is Melissa. I didn't actually ask how to say your last name. Is it Cowan? Melissa Cowan? No,
Cowan.
Cowan. Melissa Cowan is here, and I'm gonna encourage you to write down your questions, and you'll have time to chat with her in breakout room if you want to go and chat with her one-on-one. I will stay out here in the main room if you have questions to ask me. And yeah, I think we'll go ahead and hand it over to Melissa.
Hi, everyone.
There you go.
Uh, Thank you for having me today. Super excited to talk with you guys and tell you a little bit how I got into instructional design. I've been teaching since 2014, 2015. I started at Penn State University. Um, my background is in TESOL, so my focus was in ESL. But I ended up working my way into rhetoric courses and literature courses as well. In 2018, I started designing courses at Mount Aloysius College, at Penn State, and other places. I kind of fell into it. I really found myself loving the work in designing the courses. And so I started looking into instructional design, but I didn't start seriously looking into it until probably when COVID hit. I started teaching more online and designing more online and realized I could potentially make an income better than what I was making as part-time teaching. Uh, and so, unfortunately, in fall of 2022, I got really sick. The stress from all the teaching and just the stress of life. I had you know, cancer and I had a bunch of other health issues. And so I ended up quitting one of my teaching jobs and I went down to one. And at that point, I was looking into how could I pursue instructional design? Because up until this point, I was getting zero hits on my resume. And I was really struggling to get an interview. So at that point, I was down to the one job. I was teaching at Penn State, and I was struggling to do both teaching and online courses through Idle Courses Academy. So I ended up quitting my job in May of 2023 with Penn State and focused fully on these courses and finished them probably by the end of July. Started applying in August and applied for maybe a handful, and I heard back from one or two at that point in August, and was interviewing with Excelsior University. And I went from that to also getting some other interview offers, but I was really excited. So I kind of just went with the first offer I had. And so I ended up accepting an offer in September of 2023. That job was short-lived, unfortunately. Our entire team was laid off. And so I was laid off in June of this past year, 2024. But I did land another job. It's in higher education through Nightingale College. It's a nursing college based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And I've been with them since October. Um, so that process, not going to lie, from June when I was laid off through October was really, really stressful. So for any of you out there applying for jobs, there is an end in sight, but it is time consuming. It felt like a full-time job just applying for jobs, upskilling, interviewing. I applied to 174 jobs total from June to October, the beginning of October, until I was offered the position. um, and interviewed with probably 25 different places. Um, First interview, second interview, and then final interviews as well. Um, so I ended up with a few offers and went with Nightingale. So persevere. There is, it is possible to transition. A lot of upskilling, a lot of determination, and make sure you have a portfolio. So those are my key things. Not giving up, just finding somewhere to fit in during that time.
I have one follow-up question before we move on. Since you did so many interviews in a short time, I'm kind of wondering if there were like best of questions that people asked you.
Yeah, there were some that were consistently asked. One would be, how do you deal with a difficult SME or faculty member? Uh, and how do you get them to buy into what you're working on, or best practice? And the answer for me felt very natural because I was faculty and I've dealt with faculty for a really long time, and I know that that can be really difficult to get buy-in from someone who's been doing something the same way for a really long time. So my answer was always to demonstrate the best practice, have a sample, something that you can visually show them so you get that buy-in. So if they're not sure how it would look to gamify something and you have a sample of that work, it's a really good opportunity to show that because you get a lot more buy-in if someone can visually see it. That was like the number one question I saw across the board. And a lot of other ones were behavioral questions as well, along the same lines. A lot of skill based, and knowledge based. So how, how do you use Addy? And give me an example of a time you've used it and what went well, what didn't. Usually it's like a multi question and answer. They want multiple answers in that one question. So that's another one that I would say is a big one, the Addy process. Know it. Even if you've never actually used it, how could you use it? So I know that's the big one. Like teachers are like, oh no, I don't think I've ever used it. Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Think about a time where you've created a course, and even though you may not have realized that you were using a version of it. I have not. I have not been asked about Sam. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, what for those who don't know, what does SAM stand for?
You know what? That's the one that I use the least, so I can't even remember.
Okay.
I admit that.
I'm looking it up because I can't remember. Successive approximation model.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the notes if you're looking that up. And Melissa, to clarify, you said you took IDOL courses.
Idle Courses Academy, so IDOL. I have a link. I can post it.
I think I got it right.
Yep, yeah, Idle Courses. And if you haven't looked into it, they have micro. They have a couple of different learning models. I was on the older learning model where you could do it in like 8 weeks. The new learning model, you could still do that one, but the new learning model that they have certified as a tech school is 6 months.
Mm.
So it's a little bit longer, but that way you would get the certification as a technical school. Whereas what I did, I still have a certification, but at the time they weren't considered a technical school. They just got that certification for themselves.
I'll let you know what I'm working on in case you want to stay out here and chat with me. I've been doing a lot of creating trainings, internal trainings for our faculty at our institution. So I'm also in higher education. So we have a training for faculty about how to develop courses. So they have to do this training before we start our course development process. And the training includes information about best practices in pedagogy and how to use the LMS. And we've been doing this so many years with faculty that we have faculty who have completed this training, say 2 years ago, and they're like, do I really have to do this thing again like every year? So over the month of December, my colleague and I worked on updating the questions. But also we were asked to figure out a way to give credit to faculty who could test out of portions of this assessment. So there's 20 questions on this test, and we broke it into sections. So if they performed 80% or greater, I think, on a certain section, they kind of unlocked a competency in this course, and unlocking that competency kind of tested them out of doing other parts of this training. So it's supposed to speed along the process of finishing this training again. I don't know if we'll see if it works, if it helps motivate people to actually do that. So I'm working on trainings, updating AI policies, like citing AI when we use it in content generation, and then giving guidance to faculty about how to use it to generate content effectively. We're also doing an LMS review, and we're starting a lot of project kickoffs. So if you have questions about um, working with subject matter experts on projects where they're generating the content, I can talk about that too. Corey, oh, thank you, Melissa. You already answered that. Corey has a question. Where did you find you needed the greatest upskilling? Do you want to talk about that for just a minute, Melissa, for the recording?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, in deciding what to upskill and try to get into the jobs I really wanted, I looked at key skills that I had a little bit, but I really wanted to expand upon. I found the most in Coursera. I did user experience design and a lot of courses, probably 3 or 4 courses on that. I'm still working on the certification and project management. While they weren't specific to the jobs, like a necessity to have, it gave me a well-rounded, concept of how to project manage and how maybe a project manager works with an idea as well. And user experience design, while it's more about web design, I was able to pull some ideas from that and how I'm designing my courses for the learner. AI, that's a big buzzword out there, big tool out there, learning how to create prompts for AI. And there are some courses on that. And so just looking at what will put you to that next level with what you already have.
Our our group at Sinclair, I'm on a small team that worked on creating an AI cookbook. So
Oh,
it's,
that sounds fun.
yeah, it's really cute. So it's got prompts in it that faculty can use to get started on accomplishing different tasks for course design. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna pause here and do some breakout rooms. Okay, we are back. While we were in breakout rooms, I had a really cool experience. Former participant for our networking sessions. I hadn't seen him in a while. I thought it had been a couple months. It had been 2 years. It had been 2 years since I had seen him. And he got a job and he was real excited about it. So he's gonna come and see us in March. So that made my day. I mean, it truly made my day. But what I was telling him was how I was using Chat GPT, and I'm not 100% sure if I mentioned this last month, but I brought up my examples to show people what Chat GPT has helped me do. So I'm going to share before we go and do whole group Q&A. And hopefully I remember to tell you when our next meeting is. You can see my screen, right? I think so. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, what I was asking it for was advice on how to make this physics class more interactive for this online course that I was building. And it came up with some nice things here. It had these ideas, and I was like, "Ooh, this is really cool." I didn't know how to make number 7. So I said, after that one, I said, describe how to do this number 7 one. And then it gave me a step-by-step guide. Told me start with this, then do this, right? So it's all pretty specific on what I needed to do. It didn't tell me where exactly to press in storyline, but I was able to follow these instructions well enough. And this is what I ended up making. I've never made anything like this, right? So it changes depending on where it is. So that was pretty cool. That, like, I have never made anything like that. And I was able to ask ChatGPT. And like I was saying to Moana, it was so excited to talk to me. It didn't make me feel dumb. I wasn't frustrated. I was like, sure, I'd be happy to explain how to make this thing. So it's pretty cool when ChatGPT can teach you how to do something. All right. I am not going to forget. Our next time that we are getting together is February 4th from 7 to 8 p.m. It is also a Tuesday. I try to always do these on Tuesdays, and I'm going to put into the chat the registration link so you can get signed up tonight if you want to make sure to come back February 4th. And I think we are good to open up for whole group Q&A. So you're free to unmute or put it in the chat if you don't want to talk. Does anyone have any good news to share? No.
I finally finished my project. I don't have a portfolio just yet, but I finished the project. And the building the portfolio is the next one. And today I posted it on LinkedIn. So I'm very proud of it and very happy.
Great. I like that.
I had an initial interview today with an organization. I'm not sure if it's the right fit. I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but it gave me a little shot in the arm. Like, okay, I can keep rolling here and keep investing time to get moving in the direction I want to go.
I like that. A shot in the arm, right? I did it. I survived it, and I'm still living. So, any questions out there or other things to share? Tomorrow is our third snow. I'm so sorry, Teresa. Or is that good? I don't know. Teresa, is that good for you to have a third snow day?
Well, yeah, definitely. And it was just a continuation of our winter break. So, I haven't been at work since December.
Oh, the last 2 days, honestly, I'm having flashbacks to COVID lockdown, and it's not good.
Yeah, I'm a little bit ready but it'll be good. It'll be good to look forward to going back. Right?
I was happy that I got an email from our school system saying return to school on Wednesday. I was like, damn right, because I can't do this another day. They need the routine. The roads were fine today. Anyway.
I guess my question would be, I mean, I just found you through a LinkedIn and just jumped on this evening.
Mhm.
Like, I guess what's the purpose of this group other than just networking? And I mean, you have some really great topics. I really want to go back and watch the December one, but I mean, how did this all get started? I hope that's not too basic a question.
No, not at all. So I'll give you kind of a short summary of how we got to where we are. Um, when my previous career was I was an ESL teacher and I transitioned into e-learning and instructional design before the pandemic in September 2019. And I presented at TESOL 2020 that year. I thought I was going to be doing it in person, and I ended up being virtual. And my presentation was on transitioning into instructional design. And I had such a response from that presentation that I thought, well, I kept getting these messages on LinkedIn and in my emails like, can I pick your brain? And I was like, let's just open a Zoom room. And I opened that Zoom room in August 2020. And there was so much interest. I said, let's just do it again in September. And I was like, I mean, I was having like 40 or 50 people come to these things. So I was like, I think I'll just continue to do this every month. I'll just open a Zoom room and I'll put it out on LinkedIn, and whoever it reaches, it reaches. And Melissa says, I think I was in that session. That's awesome. Yeah, so I've just been doing that since August 2020, and I said I'll stop when there's not interest and when people don't want to share their time, and that hasn't happened yet. I don't make money on it. I just do it because I think it's a great thing to do for other people. I wish it was there when I was doing it, but yeah, I don't know. The purpose of the group is encouragement, meeting people, finding out resources, just asking questions in general. I think crowdsourcing and sharing information is a great way for people to get started. Danette says, I presented at TESOL 2022. I wonder if we passed. Yeah, I also presented at 2022. That was the last TESOL that I went to and presented at, and I gave one about transitioning to instructional design at that one too. So it's cool. Yeah. When you cross paths, you don't like, it's been 2 years since I've seen Corey. I recognized his name and I thought it would only been a couple months. And I was like, wow, the last time I saw him, I had a different husband. Isn't that weird? It's been 2 years. Like, pandemic was rough. It was rough. So yeah. Mm. Any other questions out there? Did I answer your question, Lucinda? Yeah, she says yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, as I have finished up Ada and I'm trying to kind of get into everything, I'm just trying to sort things out into compartments and see what's useful. And this seems really useful to me.
Good.
I mean, I like it. I'm just going to go ahead and put my LinkedIn. If anybody wants to connect, I'm happy because I'm always interested in new people and new ideas. So
Definitely. And I always like to share, what I'm working on and what I'm coming across. And so I never really know what I'm going to share. All right, I gave you February's registration link. One thing I didn't put in there was the feedback form. So let me grab that and then make sure that that's in the chat too.
Thank you, Sharon, so much for inviting me to speak today. And I really enjoyed talking with everyone, answering everybody's questions and in the chat there. But I'm going to say it again. If anybody ever wants to reach out and you're looking to brainstorm or you need anything, sometimes you just need a person to vent about, oh, I had a horrible interview, whatever. I'm always open to chatting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm here every month, Tuesdays, 7 to 8. As long as people keep coming. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Melissa, for coming and sharing your time. And we'll figure out who's going to be here in February and sharing their experience with us. And have a wonderful start to the new year, everybody. I'll see you in 1 month. Have a great night.